Sanbonani, hello, hi, it's your boy, your Timpini Popo, the one and only yellow bone. Let's say Mac Leer, but Followers and Mac 4, but Leers. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, dames and heren, to another episode on the Bushi Podcast. And with me here, I'm not alone, guys. The one and only, let's say, 4 years for a dear, the lady on my left, looking like a basketball player.
Oh, wow. Hello, high five in the sky. I go by the name of Danae Jones. Nieuwe intro? Also known as Views from Jonesy.
Dat R&B. Het is het zo gemaakt, hè? Check it, Angela.
Welcome to another episode of the Bushi Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Also, shout out to Ashby Mo. Thank you so much for showing love. Thank you so much to the audience out here. I just want to say something. Dimpi Dimpopo.
Yes, ma'am.
Because Vicky nervous, man.
Yes, ma'am.
Because Vicky nervous. It's a very special moment for us in studio tonight, today. We've got a very special guest here. I grew up watching the big dog that is sitting right here. Dimpi.
The big boss, guys. This is the guy.
Wow.
This is the guy of many talents.
How?
A jack of all trades.
How?
This is the guy that has an account at Edgar's.
Yeah, man.
Till this day.
Even for Shini one.
I don't know if
sign
he
up.
sorted it out yet or not. But this is one legend that we've all been looking up to all the years. And she said it's an honor having him in studio here on the Bushi Podcast. But before we introduce this lovely, handsome, sexy, gorgeous gentleman.
Don't
guys,
fall in love now.
No. We gaan een verkeerde impression geven, mensen. Guys, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Bushi Podcast on TikTok, official Bushi Podcast on Instagram, and on Facebook, Bushi Podcast. And on WhatsApp, it's 084.
Add another 4.
If you want to fall.
If you want to fall.
Guys, a brilliant man, an amazing man. Ladies and gentlemen, even you guys at the back, please help us welcome and make some noise for Clint! Clint.
Het was eindelijk een Truworths account, maar toen zo right. Wil
Ik
ik
ga
nou...
het allemaal los met de om uit te gaan. Ja, die account is het probleem, hoor.
Truworths, ja, de lelijke debits. Maar ons gaat aan.
Nee, en hulle soek hulle geld op tyd. Hulle soek die helft, hulle soek die poort.
Nee, en sy kan hoor een auntie wat vir jou bel, het jy 'n lunchbreak gevat vir 2 uur nou, en sy is kwaad.
Clint, my brother, thank you so much, man, as I said, for being here on the show. Thank you so much for coming. Guys, I want to share something with you guys and let you guys know, ne, het gesukkel om vir Clint hier te kry. Clint was supposed to be on the show 8 times. At the 9th time.
So you will say Clint is a cat. He's got 9 lives.
With the 9 lives. But we struggled too. We didn't really struggle, guys. But I know Clint is a very busy person. Engels, Afrikaans, Zulu, Sotho.
My Peru, Chivenda, Chikondi,
Baramino.
Baramino.
Man. But it's an honor, as I said earlier, from myself, the name, the team, for having you on the show. It's a privilege. We all know that it's not easy to get someone so brilliant, so amazing as yourself to come here out of your daily schedule and set it out for us. We really appreciate it from the Bushi Nation and everyone that's watching, especially you, the viewers. We just want to say thank you so much. And then, dat het de poeba, Clint.
Dank je, Jana. Ik zie die mic is hier na bij mij. Ik hou het maar stil. Silent but violent.
You want to answer, Clint, next?
Yeah, no, Clint. I grew up watching you on screens, and I know you from the soap opera called Generations, and we know you as Bradley. I just want to know, how did the journey start? Just give us a background. Where did it all start? How did you know that, okay, TV is my thing?
I didn't necessarily know at first that TV was my thing, you know. Ik het eerste maar... I started out being on stage at the age of 4. Ja, ik was school toen ik 5 jaar oud was. I was still young, you know, and I went to a ghetto school, so you know, there's kids in your class that's got a full beard. By the time I got to high school, toen ik staan at 6 was, soos daar braaf in my klas was met 'n vol baard, connecting beard.
Lang klas geslaag.
Nou school.
Verstaan jy, sien jy high school wat se dinge se wat die ouens vir jou aan die einde van die dag sê, hulle sê vir die juffrou, ja juffrou maak klaar, ek moet gaan werk nog. Sien jy man, hy maak skool klaar, dan moet hy gaan inklop vir sy shift. So, when I started at school, het hulle mos gesien ek is mos nou 2 jaar jonger as almal in die klas, you know what I'm saying? So, ek is van die Parel. Die mense speel rugby daar, hulle speel cricket.
Pero Western Cape.
Western Cape Parel, ja.
Cape Town is Parel.
Paul, ja. Hy's omtrent so 50 k's, 50 k's buitekant Cape Town, ja. So ek is nie 'n Cape Town nie, ek is 'n Boelander.
Okay.
Verstaan jy, man?
Okay. Wat 'n lander?
'n Boelander.
'n Boelander.
Ja, jy's van die Boeland, daar by die wynland, druiwetrappers.
Lovely.
Something like a Stellenbosch kind of type of
Buitekant Stellenbosch, ja. Stellenbosch is omtrent so 20-30 minutes weg van ons.
Nice.
Nou, ek het maar my ma het gesien van 'n jong age. My ma was eintlik 'n onderwyseres by die skool wat ek na toe gegaan het.
Okay.
Paulus Hubert. You said I must give you the
Yeah,
so I'm
no.
gonna
We
give you the
want to
long-
hear it
This is the
all.
long version.
Do you,
My broer het al laat ek praat. So, yeah, she was, sy was 'n onderwyseres by Paulus Hubert Primêr. That time when I went to school was 1985, I think, was my first year at school. And ek meen, ons was nog dik in die apartheid era daai tyd. So the circumstances for most kids at home wasn't great. So my ma was dan een van die onderwyseresse wat besluit het. Dit sal dan beter wees om die kinders by die skool te hou vir langer, you know.
Okay.
So she had more extramural activities, keep them there.
Sorry. Soos daai is hoe jy geslag het van jou ma was die onderwyser by die
Nee, my
skool.
broer.
Want ek ken ouers, hulle soek die beste vir hulle kinders.
Nee. My ma het vir my skool toe gevat op my eerste dag van skool toe. Vat sy my na ander onderwysers toe wat vir my gaan klas gee daai jaar. En sy sê, "This is my son.
Wys my dit kom.
As hy nie luister nie, slat sy gat.
Why?
Dan bring hulle hom na my toe, dan slat ek sy gat. Dan vat ek hom na die hoof toe, dan sal ons sy gat slaan. Dan as hy vanmiddag by die huis kom en ek sê vir sy pa. Verstaan? So my ma was baie gedissiplineerde mens. She was very, very disciplined, you know. And she then decided, you know, okay, she's going to try this and enroll me into the Steadfits. So die ladies wat op stage gaan en dan, you know, they do poetry or whatever. En ek het my eerste Steadfit saam met haar gedoen. And my mom was actually, in essence, my first acting coach with no
nice.
acting background herself, you know. Sy het 'n paar plays geskryf, ek is verkeerd, sy het 'n paar plays geskryf en sy was al op die stage gewees, but not as in a drama teacher, you know what I mean. But sy het in my invest, and then what happened, I participated and competed in the Steadfits every year, from grade 1 to grade 12. En as jy moes nog gaan optree en al daai goed, and then they give you certification, you know, with saying it's, you know, gold, special gold, silver, whatever. En toe ek nou begin 80%, 85%, 90%, 95%, 99+%. Laat die judges aan die einde van die dag gesê het, we are not permitted to give you 100%. So we have to give you 99+% for the work that you're doing. So toe begin hulle nou natuurlik sien, you know, I've got an ability for this thing. And it would be for obviously doing monologues or poems. And then on top of that, I would do piano recital, solo singing, ensemble singing met die koor en al die goed. So ek was maar baie in die arts, so van kleins af. And then when I finished during my high school career still, I had an opportunity to come up to Joburg and then actually Pretoria, and then I competed in the Daldo acting competition, the first year that I did it.
Sorry, Clint. Wat jy sê, wat 'n woord?
Dalro.
Ek
Ja.
Dildo competition. Ek sorry, ek op.
Ons ja.
Sorry.
Ek het gedink van Dal.
Hele ander competition.
Oh, is
Ja,
ander.
ek dink daai gebeur, daai's naby H2O.
Okay.
Van die diet, ja, it's Western side, nie in Pretoria.
But meeste van die mense, sorry om aftrek af te gooi. I've noticed most of the people that comes from not only outside but our neighboring places like provinces, Western Cape, Northern Cape, etc. and stuff. Hulle kom Joburg toe.
Yeah.
Ne? And there's a stigma that there's a better opportunity
Yes.
or etc. and stuff. So is it a true thing that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, you know, just because Joburg, I mean, with the history of it being a mining town, het almal mos maar hiernatoe gekom vir die goud, verstaan?
Initially, yeah.
I think people still kind of like do that. I think the place still has that type of energy because I mean, look at Sandton, look at the business hubs that we have here, and at what rate it's building, you know. And Joburg is still kind of like seen as a place that sets the pace for the rest of South Africa. I would say,
Agreed,
entertainment-wise, you know, it might not be true, but just because the perception is like that, it's big, it's fast. Things are easily accessible.
Yeah.
There's more opportunities. People get paid more here. The lifestyle that you can have here is a little bit more lavish than you would other places, you know. Die Kaap is duur, my bro. Die Kaap is
Ja.
lelijk duur.
But Cape Town also, like, big shout out to Cape Town if you guys is from Cape Town.
Yes.
Cape Town is also doing very well within the movie industry. So that's something we'll dwell into later. But Cape Town, all the movies, the
And music.
qualities, and the music as well. Not
For
so
creatives as a
And
whole.
fashion also, you know, I think it's got a
Yeah.
lot to do with just that energy, kinetic energy daar. Hulle is naby die hawe, my bro.
Ja.
Daar's 'n klomp verskillende mense wat in die Kaap inkom, you know, lots of foreigners. And here it's like more inland, you know, it's like more spread out.
Net Gloria Lake en Hardebeespoort daar.
En Gold Reef City.
Gold Reef City is nog wel
Maar dis
rijk.
wat like ek van Joburg, man. Joburg is van so 'n aard. Sy kan maar nou die klip hardste acte in die land wees. Gaan Rosebank toe. 'n 15-jarige lady wat daar in Rosebank met 'n
Met
paar
bodyguards.
Jordans loop, is baie meer famous as sy.
En dan loop met bodyguards.
Haar sit
Sure.
Na alle time, sorry, like, where we still edit. Alle time, ek sien dan so klein lady, Ruben, moet 2 groot manne wat langs aan hom loop, bodyguards. Ek sê, wat doen die mense se familie? Kap hulle mense op of verkoop hulle
Sien hulle
parke?
met bro,
of
verkoop
iets
goud.
soos hy. And it is a true thing, because you think, most probably some places you are famous en goed sê. Ek gaan dan sometimes mota en groet niemand meer, ek is baie disappointed, because ek moet harder werk, die dan kan nie so aangaan nie. Die dan kan nie so aangaan nie. But yeah, the opportunities, yeah.
Yeah, opportunities in Joburg, I think the thing about Joburg is, you know, I think people like to connect here. There's more of an integration that I
Yeah.
find in Joburg than I do in Cape Town, you know. For the longest time, I feel like Cape Town, even if you check the way that the city is built, bruin mense woon daar, die swart mense woon daar, die wit mense woon daar. Daai is hoe het gebou is,
Ja.
verstaan? Ja, ons almal liewe die mekaar hier so.
Ja.
You know what I mean? Yes, there are certain sections and areas and stuff like that, but there's more integration that I find in Joburg. And I also find like in Johannesburg, you know, if you have a dream and if you hustle enough, actually, toe ek Joburg toe getrek het, het ek gesê, die Joburg is, die jongens het mos net 'n groot bek, man. Die bra kan nie eens sing nie, of die bra kan nie eens, maar hy sê vir die mense, en hy is die beste, en die bra is vol geboek die hele jaar. Hierso is ek is die gevaarlikste bra. Ek moet wag vir 'n skarrel vir 'n booking.
Sure.
But that is the thing that's so great about this place. You learn, you know. You learn how to think on your feet. You have to be, and I mean, people still say it, you know, you come and you hustle here in Joburg, and that's the thing. So you have to connect with that energy. It's like playing cards and playing poker. You don't necessarily play the card, you play the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hy is wat ek kry met Joburg.
Agreed.
So ek like daai vibe. En hier is 'n ander ding ook van, jy gaan miskien, you know, you've got a dream or you have a passion or you have an ideal or something that you want to achieve. Sy praat met 'n bra wat miskien 'n bra ken, wat miskien 'n ander bra ken wat in daai besigheid is en
Connections.
so het gebeur. Verstaan? Waar ek voel in die Kaap, it's so far apart, bro.
Ja,
you
ja,
know.
en-
Sy-
Really?
Die dinge beweeg nie soos wat dit beweeg.
Shoprite is by dit lyk die. Dit as jy by Shoprite kom, dit is weer lus vir hy broodjie. but like just
You know, that's what I feel about Joburg. So, I mean, I did the Dalro acting competition.
Oh, Dalro.
Dalro.
ja, bro.
The second time around, toe kom ek tweede. En toe staan een van die judges op.
Sorry,
Yes.
just to break your word. So that time you were still in the Western Cape. You would just
Still in the
fly
Western
to
Cape, I was still in
Joburg.
high school.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so
Okay.
high school, the second time that I participated, I was in grade 11. Standaard 9, ek is 'n ou bal. Standaard 9. And that was my first, I would say, experience of what the entertainment business is like, really, because ek het tweede gekom en een van die judges het by die tafel opgestaan en die judge het gesê, ons almal weet daai Brinkleit moes gewen het, but omdat daai lady se pa 'n benefactor is en hy is 'n investor in die university.
In most cases.
Verstaan ons nou
ja.
hoekom daai lady tweede moet gekom het. Ek wil nie meer deel van die ding wees en hy stap uit. So I was like, oh, I wouldn't have known that, you know.
Sure.
En toe kom hulle na die tyd na my toe en toe sê hulle vir my, you know what, we're going to offer you the same scholarship that you would get if you did well, you know, if you won, which was to study at Pretoria Tech for free. Toe sê ek, want ek is mos 'n harigheid bra. Toe sê ek vir hulle, man, ek is niemand se tweede beste nie. So dan gaan werk ek maar lieweste vir my eie ding. Maar as jy net vir my voor die mense, if you cannot publicly acknowledge that I did well, don't come and pacify me privately.
Yeah.
Then I'd rather work for my own thing. No, thank you.
Sure.
Wat eintlik stupid was as ek nou terugdink, want ek kon vir my ma seker baie geld gespaar het. But I don't know, I've just always been that type of person, you know. Some call it stubborn and hard-headed. Some people have called me too principled. I just think fair is fair, you know.
Agreed.
But I
Agreed.
think also like that's one of the main things, and it's a conversation we normally have amongst ourselves, especially as friends. Number one, sorry for putting it this way, the good guy always comes last. That is number one. Number two, it's like if you're not stubborn enough in what and believe in what you want, and I always tell people, if you're not gonna love your dream, someone else is gonna love it for you.
you.
I don't know to get what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
So,
So hulle sal plan maak met jou om hulle self suksesvol te maak.
Kijk, ergens op een call in die entertainment industry gaat zij een braam moeten wezen van mensen zeggen, you know what, this is my price and I can't be bought.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
En als het mean dat jullie niet meer deel wil maken van I knew I'm no longer an A-lister or I'm part of the in-crowd, that's fine. Because I'm not willing to sell something that I won't be able to get back. Just to be accepted or validated by people, verstaan? Ik was nog altijd zo geweest. Kijk je mijn bro, voordat een man nog op tv geweest het, ik bij Pick n Pay gewerkt. Ik heb bij Truworths al gewerkt. Mijn bro, ik was een barback bij Pieter Sellers in die Kaap. Which means, ik was die barman zijn handlanger. Zien zij? Die barman zei met zij gaat maak je asbakken schoon. Zij gaat al voor ons ijs. Zij gaat heel uit dronk gaat braden uit en tel hem op en vat hem uit. Verstaan? So for me, it was always like, ik was zonder die industrie, man. Ik heb een gift wat die Heer vir my gegee het. Ek het 'n gawe wat binne my gesit was. And I honor it like that. But my identity is nie net wat ek doen nie, my broer. Dan maak hy eintlik my 'n baie swak mens. Ek wil aan my hê dat die dag wanneer ek nie meer op die aarde is, dat al wat op my gravestone moet staan, dat ek 'n actor was.
Ja.
That means I had a very one-dimensional life, you know.
Sure.
Ek wil hy kan nie hê dat jy het hoor.
Sien jy?
It's all about multiplying the talent.
You know what? Sorry for jumping. Like I want to talk about the industry in terms of the like generations itself and backstage, né? In backstage.
Hy is waar ek begin het.
Ja, dat die begin. I told you.
What was the name of backstage?
It was
Shawn Jacobs.
so.
Jacobs.
Hey, die man, die vrouens was maar vir die man hoor.
I was 19 when I got that role.
Really?
Ja, die vrouens was maar. I think at one moment they confused him with Chris Brown on backstage. Toen zei hulle Chris Brown was op backstage. Ik zei ik moet gaan
En
kijken.
hij kan nog zang op.
En ik kan nog zang op, nee.
Kijk, en die swak ding is, nou het ek en Chris Brown nog dieselfde initials ook CB. Dus ook my vrou noem my Breezy.
Ja, Breezy.
Net my vrou.
En dan sang je residual vir haar.
So I wanted to find out, yeah, coming from backstage generations, the industry within acting itself, right? How was the experience, especially with starting at backstage? Because you said it was one of your first. Was it your breakthrough as well?
Breakthrough, that was my breakthrough role, bro.
Because backstage was huge, bro.
Yeah.
It's massive.
What backstage is? I'm not putting anyone down, but this scandal and all these other things, your
na die
backstage
tyd
is
gekom.
horror, right? It.
Ja.
And then women were crazy for you. Dat ek hoor eens kom van 'n man af en kom toe. Hy is toch al om backstage te gaan kyk.
Ja, het was so.
So how was that? It was your first breakthrough, and how does it impact your life ever
No, it
since?
changed
Ja.
my life completely. I mean, it put me on the path that I'm on right now. Ek dink dit het vir my voor die oë van miljoene Suid-Afrikaners gesit. At the age, like I said, at the age of 19. So I finished high school. I went to Stellenbosch University because they said that was the best institution, theater-wise, om ons nog gehad. Swada, ek was soon toe. In my eerste jaar sê die 4de jaar students vir my, nee, as jy eerste jaar is, dan kan jy nie acting doen nie. You're not going to get any lead roles. They moet sets bou and you have to support the honor students. Toe sê ek vir hulle, nee, ek het mos that's not what I'm here. Ek is hier om te leer hoe om my skill beter te maak.
Ja.
You know, I come with my own background, my own momentum. En toe ek begin agterkom, you know, it's a place with tradition and daai tyd 'n man se skinkalle het die boute bietjie geraak vir mense, verstaan? They weren't ready to see someone a colored bra stand on the same stage as other people and hold his own, you know. They didn't really know how to see. That's what was my experience of it, you know. To say I go right now, dan maak ek maar van die jaar af. I left Stellenbosch University because City Varsity just opened film school, which is what where my desire was anyway.
Passion, ja.
Want hy tyd toe ek nog so jonk was, het ek gesien, ek was 18, ek sien al die theater ouens, hulle doen al die dikstukke, maar die manne het die medical aid, die manne kan nie vir goed betaal nie. So I was like, do I really want to give my blood, sweat and tears to something that is not going to make me even send my child to school? I don't know if I want to do that. So how can I still be an actor and make money and actually have a life and have property and have business? How do I do that? Because I didn't see any theater people do that. En onthou my bro, Daar was niemand in my family wat 'n artist was nie. There was no one to mentor me. There's no CEO. There's no big uncle that's connected. There's no politically affiliated person. As alles ek Here se wil en dis dit nare werk en daai, you know. And when I finished City Varsity in my eerste maand van film school, toe stuur hulle vir my reg die final year toe. So I graduated in a year.
Sure.
I got my higher diploma, which is like a degree in professional film and television acting, in 1 year. 2 maanden daarna kreeg ik audition for Backstage. Uit 700 mensen, out of 700 people that auditioned for my character alone.
Sure.
I was told by the producer, Mfundi Vundla, who was also the creator of Generations, who was the creator of Backstage. Shout out Mfundi Vundla. He called me and my family to come to the castle in Cape Town toe hulle nog daai die trailer geskiet het. En to say for me, listen, my boy, I just want to let you know, out of 700 people that auditioned for your role alone, I'm choosing you. Your agent doesn't know it yet. You are a star and you'll never be without work in this business. That is wat hy vir my gesê het. And that was the start of my acting career. Yeah.
Sure.
That is nadat ek man die baie difficulties moet deurgegaan het in die Kaap, where, you know, getting an agent was difficult for me because some agents closed the door in my face right in and said, oh, dit werk vir brein mense nie. You know, as a colored person, you're not going to get work in Cape Town if you don't have blue eyes and blonde hair. Then, you know, how are we going to get ads and stuff for you? So I had the spirit that was very defiant of those things, man. Ek moenie vir my sê ek kan nie, man. Ek was nog nooit iemand wat daarvan gehou het nie. As jy vir my sê ek kan nie, wys ek vir jou, ek gaan een van die bestes wees wat my ding doen, you know. I've just been, and I think I got that wiring from my dad. My pa was so 'n mens gewees. As hy gesê het hy staan op 'n ding, hy staan op 'n ding.
Oh, but
Klipbaar.
that's a great attitude to have. And there's something that you said that really stood out for me, where Clint said it was literally just himself and God against the world. And see how doors opened up for you. And I think that is what I stand on. If you've got a purpose in this life, regardless of where you end up, it's always going to work out.
Yeah, no, you actually have to cultivate a superior belief in why you are here. But I think that there has to be a combination of honesty that goes along with that, because die help het sy glo dis die beste en sy is hy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you need to look at yourself realistically and say, these are my strong points, these are my weaknesses, you know, and objectively look at who you are and say, all right, now that ek die feite het, how do I make sure that I build this thing on my weaknesses, that my weaknesses become my strengths? You know what I mean? And for that, I have to thank my parents.
Sure.
I have to thank my parents. I have to thank the community that I come from.
And
I have to thank
educators.
the school.
Yeah.
Yes, the school that I went to. Listen, my school's motto was aim high. Ons gaan nie nog lank praat nie. Mik hoog. Dis dit. En ek onthou, nou is ek is die kleinste laite in die klas. Al die ouens is sportmanne, rugby spelers. My broer, hulle tackle vir my laat ek. Verstaan, hulle sit my, ek
Jy
moet
sal eendag opstaan en wil rugby speel. No offense, ek het nooit daai gedink in my lewe.
Meneer, nou is ek nog die witste laite op die skool.
Oh, ons wil sien jou baie vinnig.
Brother, ek daar sy. Ja,
Daar
die bal.
Ja, kom of om.
So was dit. So ek moes 'n ding gekry het vir my wat ek gesê het, okay, as ek in daai avenue nou afgaan, dan moet ek saam met hy manne compete wat nou al klaar naturally gifted is in hy goed wat ek nog moet opvang en wat is my eie ding. And for that also I have to thank the Lord's wisdom for that, you know, want daai was 'n les wat ek as 'n laity moes geleer het om te sê, alright, ek kan nou kies om saam met hy manne in die pad te gaan beklei en dan kyk wie gaan bo uitkom.
Yeah.
Of ek stap net in die plek af wat ek sien niemand regtig in afstappie en ek maak my eie ding vir myself en ek is my eie bra. So I chose to do that. But then that makes you an outsider when it comes to a lot of things, you know.
And I think that's part of a motto, sorry, Clint. I think I've read it and I've seen that quote how much times that the more you grow, it gets lonely.
Yeah.
You get bored and stuff like that. But it's just a process of you growing and becoming someone better.
Yeah.
And then just another thing, Clint, sorry om te sê, jy lyk baie nice vir my broer. Ek wil nie lieg, jy lyk baie nice.
Trouwens, ek moes gesê het.
Trouwens, nee, as jy kan uit so die interest rate maak ons klaar. And then another thing with, like you said that they invited you for the backstage and then generations one followed after that.
Yes.
As well, how was that experience as well? Because I'm sure most of Akashi know them. As you said, the producer is also from Generations.
Yes.
So you're able to
Creator, yeah. He was the producer of Generations and both backstage.
and you're able to chill sommer samen hulle een
Hey
was.
braaf, ja, daar's 'n klomp wat gebeur het voordat ek Joburg toe gekom het, you know. And I also like I'm very aware of shifts that happens in one's life, you know. Jy kan miskien nie dink jy liewe gaat one way, maar dan maak jy liewe 'n ander ding en dan moet jy weer leer, you know, you have to adapt. Like I mean, I went through a difficult time while I was also going through the best time of my life, you know. I mean, hier's ek 'n laaitie van die Parel. Toe ek onthou ek het nog eendag op die trein gesit op pad varsity toe. En die ouens sê, die man sê hy study engineering, daai bra doen dit en daai bra en ek sê vir die ouens, ouens ek gaan op TV wees. Toe lag die hele al die mense in die trein het begin lag, bro. Hulle lag. Ek kyk vir hulle soos waarvoor lag die mense. Toe sê hulle vir my, hoe gaan sy dit reg kry my broer? Sy's van die Parel. Niks gaan hoe gaan sy dit doen? En daai ding het nog ek raak my so stil kwaad man. Dit is soos 'n bom wat in my afgaan broer, dink ek.
Die hart brand.
Julle gaan wyser.
Julle gaan hoor.
Julle gaan wyser
Ons
aan
sal
my
my voel.
nou die rede hoekom ek dit sê is want nou hier's ek 19 jaar oud. I'm now
Is jy nou 19?
Nee.
Hier mama ek het so
Sorry, my
oh
broer.
my vader. Ek dink hy sê nou is ek nie.
Dan gaan my sê ek moet van die wyp af klim as ek 19 is en ek lyk so.
Ek's 19 kind.
Brother, 19 jaar oud, backstage, millions of people now. I'm exposed to and who are now exposed to my abilities and you know my image. En daar gaan ek deur 'n moeilike tyd. Ek was in 'n kar ongeluk, you know, and my girlfriend then passed away in the car accident.
Hey man,
In daai tyd,
Sure.
deur hy transition ding wat ek moes deurgemaak het terwyl ek nog in die Kaap werk, het backstage die producer van die show en die broadcaster, they had differences. There was a court case. I think Mfundi lost the court case to the broadcaster. The broadcaster then decided that they will move the show to Johannesburg. Toe dink ek vir myself, ek moet ook uit die Kaap uitkom nou man. Alles in die Kaap remind my van die mense en sulke goed. Dis nie 'n goeie plek meer vir my nie. I need a new start. So then Mfundi said, he told myself and then 4 other or 5 other actors from backstage as well and said that, listen, hy sal vir ons Generations toe bevat. And that time Generations was the biggest show on TV.
Before the
ever.
legacy, né?
Yeah, before the legacy, yeah. So ek het gegaan van 'n show which was actually a show that revolutionized television in South Africa. Backstage het gemaak dat selfs hoe die mense lighting doen op sets en hoe hulle sets gebou het, changed everything.
Sure.
You know, because also Mfundi spent some time in the States, learned from that side, came back here and basically put something together of an international standard that can be exported and compete with their stuff, you know. And even our soapies, the quality of our soapies in South Africa is better than what they do abroad, you know.
Sure.
So, nou gaan ek van 'n revolutionary groundbreaking show toe na die grootste show in die land toe. While in my personal capacity, I was a broken individual. I was dealing with so much behind the scenes. Maar jy sien die Here het God's got a sense of humor, brother, because even though I was dealing with so much in my private life, no one could pick up on it professionally. They've never had to say cut because I didn't know my lines or anything like that. Everything would be business as usual, you know. And I think most producers and people that have worked with me on sets know that I'm a lover of discipline and efficiency and respect, so that when I do step on stage or even if I do step in a space, you know, my ding is nog altyd so gewees. Ek bied nou vir julle hierso vir die eerste keer en ek stap hier in julle space in. En wat altyd op my hart gelê is how do I leave this space in a better condition than what I found it in?
Hallelujah.
I've never been the type of ek het hier in die entertainment business ingegaan om te sê ek soek fame en ek soek geld en ek soek al die goed. Miskien moet ek hy gedoen, dan sal ek nog baie meer geld gehad. But ek het net gedink as daai jou attitude is, né, then somewhere along the line You're going to have to pay a price that you
Yeah.
have, you're going to get called or asked to pay a price that you will end up paying with your soul for.
Yeah.
And that was never my thing. I never wanted, no.
And especially
Nothing.
with passion and everything.
Yeah, my bro.
Sure.
Because,
So, so Generations obviously was just like the next level for me. But it for my, na 'n ander level toegevat. But then also, as a young artist, as a aspiring businessman, as someone that wants to expand and grow, en ek het die mentorship gehad, dan vraag ek myself, hoe kan ek nou nog groter raak? So then I had to learn how to negotiate for myself when it comes to contracts and money and speaking about your personal value. En daai is wat mense nie van hou.
Oh, nie. Ja.
Hulle hou nie daarvan nie, bra.
Remember I told you earlier about that conversations.
Yeah.
Once you start growing, the love becomes less. But once you
Yeah.
start breaking, the love becomes more. Like in terms of a funeral or
We
type of
actually
thing.
had this conversation.
Yeah, I told Clint, I told someone actually, when it comes to those kind of situations, if a funeral, whatever sad moment you're having, the funeral is not the time when you're burying the person or putting the person down. The funeral is after that.
Yeah.
When the parents, everyone is alone. And that's how people are even in life as well. Because if I do something good, I say goed genoeg hier of iets soos hy. But
Yeah.
once I do something bad, whoa,
Yeah.
klantie.
Yeah.
Ja, no, it's like that, hulle wil vir jou onthou vir al die verkeerde goed wat sy
Ja.
gedoen het.
Ja.
Sy kan miskien 1000 goed reg
Reg
doen
gedoen het.
en een ding verkeerd doen en dan label hulle vir jou so.
Yeah.
But ek het toe geleer vir myself and said, you know what, man, somewhere along the line, and this is another lesson that I learned. My mom taught me when I was small. Ek het sy eendag gestap, she was pregnant with my sister still, and then ek het in die Wellington gewoon uit en is, kykie, as hy in die Parel in die Wellington was,
Wie siblings is julle?
ons is 2, is net ek en my sister.
Oh, net julle twee. Dan julle was focused.
Ja, nee, hulle het gesê net so, budget.
Daar was
sê
TV
net-
I don't think
bereis.
julle sommer 8,
Daar was 'n TV bereis.
8, 9
Ja,
kinders.
ja,
Ek
nee,
word- Wat het hy mense
My
gedoen
maale
in hy
was
tyd?
9, my paale was 8, so ek is wys. En toe stap ons terug huis toe in die Parel in Wellington. Die summertime was warm. Ons praat van 42, 43.
Ja, kyk dan, joh.
Hy raak kliphard warm, verstaan?
Dood brand as ek moet
En
daar gaan.
ons stap huis toe en ek stap op die curb, op die sypaadjie en een van die slabs skiet toe in en ek val in die gat af van die drein. And I cut my knee open as I fall on the way down. En ek val in die drein en ek kyk op so na my ma toe. En ek is nog 'n laaitie man en ek huil. En my ma kyk net vir my met 'n baie serious gesig, bro. Sy kyk my net so stryd.
Wat jy wou moet voel.
Daai is die ander ding wat sy my gesê het, voel sy altyd my gat warm geslaan het. Maar daai tyd toe sê sy vir my, Clint, staan op, klim uit. Want daar gaan 'n dag wees wat jy eendag vir jouself in 'n gat gaan vind en dan gaan ek of jou pa of niemand gaan daar wees om vir jou te help. So jy moet maar nou leer om dit maar nou vir jouself te doen. Klim uit.
Sure.
En ek onthou daai woorde, want daai woorde het vir my toe ek in 'n gat was emotionally, bro, en mentally en nie geweet het hoe ek myself daar gaan uitkry nie. Onthou ek my ma het my gesê daai te kykie. Daar gaan 'n dag wees, daar gaan niemand wees om vir jou te help. Jy moet dit vir jouself kan doen. En daai was soort van my attitude met alles. So toe ek by Generations natuurlik was en ek begin sien, alright, nee, but ek kom van 'n show wat baie popular was. Ek is hier, so ek sien wat my work ethic is. Ek weet wat my value is. Ek weet wat my story is. Moenie my story kom minder maak en my character kom minder maak wie ek is 'n mens, maar I feel this is my worth.
Yeah.
And then you meet people that want to challenge you on that. And then you find the business side of the entertainment industry where either people want to exploit you or bully you when it comes to it. Niemand gaan mos vir jou sê, ja my broer, jy's reg. Kyk hierso, vat sommer my McLaren, ag hierso's my triple story. Mense gaan mos nie hy doen nie, verstaan jy? Maar toe het ek al daai tyd geleer, you have to back up. As jou mond 'n ding sê, moet jy dit kan prove, my broer. Verstaan?
You need to stick to it.
As Jay says, as professional, then conduct yourself
Yes.
professionally.
Professional.
If you say that you are the best in what you do, then show people
You
in
are.
your professionalism, you respect how you are the best, So ja, daai was my ding.
Jy nou iets geleer hoor.
My Generations, bra, it was a great natuurlik. It was great vir my aan die een kant gewees, but weer eens, and I say this with no disrespect to the storytellers or the script writers or whatever, but ek het 'n clear vision in my mind gehad as 'n laaitie wat uit die Parel uit gekom het, as 'n colored brand gesê het, ek sal like om mense soos ek te sien, ook op die TV wies, wat ook soos Bruce Lee en Superman en al die mense en al die, ek wil ook mense sien wat soos ek lyk, wat hy goed kan doen, verstaan? En toe generations na my tweede of derde jaar op die show, toe ek begin agterkom, wat die character bly aan net by die bar, en hy gaan nie groei nie, en toe sê ek myself, but what story am I telling, what am I telling colored people then? What am I telling people? And then, you know, obviously I'm saying colored people now because that is kind of like the demographic that I come out of, but when I say colored people, almal van ons van color, you know what I mean? There was a perception that ons is of gangsters, of ze moet, je verstaan nie man. Nou, my character in Generations, hoe het hy begin? Hy het uit die tronk uitgekom.
Really? Sure.
Toe kan hy nie skryf nie, because, you know, he's dyslexic. His mother was Anne, I think wat was Anne de Villiers was die character's naam, who ran a escort agency, so prostitution.
Yeah.
Hy werk by Sunny in die bar. When I looked at those things and I'm like, but dis eintlik al die negative stereotypes wat Suid-Afrikaners van breinmense sê. Your mothers are prostitutes, you are uneducated, julle kan nie lees nie, julle is violent, julle hoort in die tronk, my character kom uit die tronk uit, en julle is syplappe, nou werk ek in die bar. When I looked at that, I wasn't happy with that. I was like, no. If there's no evolution in this character, if there's no end story, waar 'n colored lady of meisie vir my kan gaan kyk en sê, ek wil soos Deborah wees. So then I decided to skiet ek my uit vir punte. Then I was like, you know what, man? This is not serving my mission. Yes, I'm thankful for the opportunity to, you know, be with so many great people. Ek het nou al saam met seker die dikste actors in die land het ek nou al gewerk in scenes and, you know, they really did some good work with a lot of people, which I'm so, so grateful for. But like I said, I didn't come into the industry to get stuff out of it. I came here to at least just plant a seed of hope so that people can have a different perspective and just the way that they see themselves. And toe kry ek 'n scandal daarna, which I felt like made me really happy, where I was now able, hier het ek nou 'n character that's aspirational. He's a multi-millionaire, he's a property developer, he's a businessman, he's suave, he's debonair, you know. Verstaan nie man? He's a good person. He battles his family politics natuurlik. Sy ma is nou 'n undercover drug dealer en al dat goed, but here's his character with righteousness and that wants to do the right thing, that it's fighting against his change the narrative, bro.
Because sorry Clinty, I wanted to ask something and say this. When you said earlier, when you came to Scandal, you transitioned into this different character as well. Because we had a guest on the show as well that also explained us as well about changing, transitioning from one character to another character, because you don't want to portray what people already think we are.
Yeah.
You understand? And you don't want to make someone look at you and say, how can I want to be like Clint?
Yeah.
But it's an all the negative
Plus my
things.
bro, hoe gaan ek 'n gangster lyk? Ek is 'n oulik.
It's
Verstaan
cute.
jy, man?
Ek sien jou net, give me your money.
Verstaan jy? Niemand gaan bus vir my ernstig uit wat met 'n Jerry curl, my bro. Hierso met 'n S-curl moet ek nou vir jou koop.
But one thing, before we continue, Clinty, but one thing that I would like to share with you as well, if these guys haven't told you yet, that's what we actually do also at the Bushi Podcast.
Yeah.
It's a podcast and a platform for changing the narrative, especially within terms of a colored community.
Yes.
And bringing people on. As I said earlier, it's an honor having you here, and we appreciate you being here because we've watched you, we love what you do, we still love what you do, we still gonna love what you do. But this is a platform where we show young people what it is like to be and do certain things, that it is possible. You came from Western Cape, you come from Parel, jy het in die gat ingeval. And guys, die woord gat, daar's 2 woorde vir dit. It's a hole in English en die ander ene is die ding. Don't get Clint wrong. but yeah, Scandal as well. Scandal is a brilliant show as well.
Yeah.
Ja, Scandal het vir my toe weer in 'n hele ander league gesit, verstaan, because then nou as ek net Bradley was 'n cool character vir my op Generations gewees, but I felt like, you know, it still wasn't necessarily like a breakthrough character for me, you know. I'm fortunate that al die characters wat ek nou al gespeel het, you know, characters that were loved. But I think that is a personal quality that ek as a mens, that's my character that's inside of the character, you know. So ja, Scandal vir my was iets anders. Ek het gevoel like, yeah, I have an opportunity to actually lead a show, you know. Want die gebou waar die hele ding in afgespeel het was in Tino Martins se gebou. He was the landlord of the building, you know. So if anything happened in the newsroom and they needed to speak to someone, Tino was the guy that they had to go speak to get stuff sorted out. You know what I mean? So I really love that. That for me was liquor. And I mean, before then, I had an opportunity to do a feature film called Dollars and White Pipes while I was still working on Generations, which also contributed to films like Four Corners and Nume Scully and Number 37, because that was the mother film for Ali Cape Flats movies for second
Yeah,
handing.
yeah.
Because I know Four Corners is a big thing, yeah.
Anand
we
Singh
still- we
was the
still do.
producer of that.
Still do watch those
The Spinners
movies.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, Dollars and White Pipes was die eerste
Dollars and
movie.
White Pipes, one of the first, was it, Justin?
Was die eerste movie wat vir die mense hy wys gemaak het, man. Hanover Park, hoe dit lyk. En I mean, it was based on a true story of a brother that's a friend of mine, you know.
So sorry, my brother, man. Not in conclusion, but then also I wanted to jump onto another point as well. That with you being multi-talented Engels, we've seen that you also ventured into
Music,
the music
yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
That was my next question,
Yeah,
actually.
would you like to share something more on that? Because I think here, this platform, we can also get those booking details out there for the people. So
Yeah, so, I
what
mean-
inspired the music quickly?
So the music and the acting must happen the same time, man. Die dinge soos wat ek gesê het, when I was doing the I Stayed Fits, I would do the monologues and the poems, but then I would also do solo singing, piano recital, and so on. So the music was always a part of it. I just think like music is such a personal thing for me, you know. I've never needed to be in a position where I do music because it's my job. So music for me was always like a supporting a thing for me, you know, where I can do it the way that I like to do it. Don't necessarily have to do whatever is fashion now. I
Yeah.
can do what is honest with me. I'm self-funded. I do it myself, produced most of the music myself. I play a couple of instruments. But yeah, the music thing.
Jack of all
All
trades.
trades, ah.
Jack my baas, Jack my baas, so.
Hier dink ek is 'n jack of all trades.
My broer Jack Daniels. Nee, so the music thing, I've been fortunate, man. I do it because I really love it and I'm passionate about it. And ja, man, het mos altyd 'n droom dat dit so groot gaat slat. But I think if I had to be as big of a musician as I was an actor at the same time at that young age, dan sal daar baie groot probleme in my lewe gewees het, ou broer. Baie. Ek sal of 6'6" gewees het en nou al of in die tronk.
Hey,
Hey,
I
man,
just
yeah,
I just have a question because now
Yes.
we know where you come from. We've got to experience, you know, the achievements and the good things that came out of your life.
Yes.
What is Clint doing now, and does Clint have any future plans that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. This is the difficult thing about being an artist in the climate that we find ourselves in now, you know, because so many things have changed in the entertainment business in the last couple of years. Some good, some difficult. We're finding a lot of production companies and people not honoring their word. And we find so many people that have invested in the foundation of the arts and really, you know, so many things were built on their backs, who cannot afford a life for themselves. So I think we owe it to all of the people who have suffered before us to lay that foundation and open the door for us to have success and longevity. And success and longevity as an artist for me is not just the work that you produce, because what use is it of you being a super famous, super talented person, but you have an estranged relationship with your children or your family members? Is that worth it for you, you know? To have bank account full of money, but jy sien nie jou kinders nie, jou kinders hou nie van jou nie, of hulle is nie lief vir jou nie, jy het nie liefde in jou huisie, then that money becomes worthless. So for me as an artist, because you create from your soul, you create from your heart. So when you do stuff like that, you have to make sure that the art also feeds that. You know, your soul has to be fed so that you can become a better humanitarian. On the one end, if you look at the entertainment side of what I do, then yeah, for sure, being on stage and or on set or being able to embody different characters is one thing. But the life skill that I learned from playing other people's or telling other people's stories means that my heart grows bigger for people, because I understand people's circumstances better. I understand their reasons. I understand their lack of choices. I understand their hardships. I have to feel it, embody it, and then tell that story. So that is what makes me, acting actually makes me a better humanitarian. It's supposed to make me more compassionate, more tolerant, more kind, and not a celebrity where you just think about yourself the most times,
Ignorant type.
So as an artist, you need to evolve, you need to grow, So I do have a production company. I produce music videos, going into the film business now as well with feature film scripts and other things that I set out to
Dat jy
do.
die Here gaan iemand stuur, hoor.
And daar is die ander ding, actually, to be 100% honest with you, my greatest desire is to make sure that I stay close to God in everything that I do now.
Love
I'm no
that.
longer 20 in my 20s and 30s.
Sure.
When you're in your 20s and 30s, I think everyone goes out and you fight against the world because you need to make a name for yourself, you need to make a mark, you need to have your identity, find yourself. So you challenge the world on many things, and you don't find many 20-year-olds. I'm sorry to say that if there are some of you out there, it's amazing, that has the confidence to rely on the Lord to take care of them. Because I think we don't necessarily understand that concept when we're that young as well. Want sy voel, sy moet gaan werk vir die move, man. Sy moet gaan sak vir die ding. So, like I said, even though I have all of these things that I want to do and that I want to fulfill, my biggest passion is just to remain a good man. Mike Tyson said something on his podcast that actually hit me really hard. And when he said he would prefer to be known as a good man and not a great man, because there are many great men who are not good men, but most good men are great men.
Sure.
And that for me speaks to the heart and the character of the person.
Some of the word of the day, hoor. I don't even need to
Verstaan
ask
nie,
it from
man.
you, hoor.
Ja. Is alright, ons maak die deur toe, stuur die offering plate in die mond. Marvin Sapp joke, sorry.
Beautiful. Clinty, with that being said, just like for cherry on top, especially with the things that you're doing, may God bless you, may you continue changing lives, may you continue. Who's my English, alright? Ne?
That's all right.
Nice, solid, bro.
Yeah.
Ons gaan nie hy woordjies aan hoef te sit nie.
Brilliant work in the community, my brother. We really honor and appreciate you, my brother. So if you can just like let people know, whoever's interested in finding out more about you, or would like to in future work with you as well, and check you out, the work you've done, or maybe come to some kind of way, hey man, come to the table or something like that.
Yes.
Where can people find you? Are you a social media person? Or
On the
kom
socials.
straight now, is toe wat?
My broer, maak net seker sy bring of donuts, kosistes, biscuits, koffie, rootie curry. Hy sal altyd welkom wees. No, I'm on the socials. Like I said, it's important for me now to be in the spaces where I do offer mentorship, the type of mentorship that I never had about the entertainment business, how to have longevity, how to have a balanced, successful life for yourself, So die mense kan uitreik na my to Clint on the Brink, Twitter. I'm on your IG, homie. I'm on Threads, my nigga. Know what I'm saying? It's your boy. Holla. But various different things, mentorship, performances, collaborations, whatever, As die connection waar is, die connection is sterk, dan is 'n man daar.
I love the energy. I love the energy. And then from us, Clint, like I said earlier, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the day or the time out of your day to come and be part of the show. The show is only made because of people like you guys that come on the show. And what I can say is for any viewer, any listener out there, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a singer, if you want to do all of these kind of things, you have a passion, if you have a dream, just don't give up. Don't let, like Danae said earlier, your circumstances define you. Go for it. And one last thing, try to put God first.
I think that's the main one that came out of this conversation.
Yes, that's what I learned actually.
Seek ye first the kingdom.
Seek first God, and then everything else shall follow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Timpi Dimpopo, the one and only Yellow Bone, and the handsomest guy in this whole production team. The guy that dresses the nicest guys. You watched the Bushi Podcast, and without any further ado, we on the Bushi Podcast is a saying that we always say, that we are not bougie, we are Bushi.